I'd like to know how this movie came to be.
You know what? I was traveling around, and everywhere I went, I saw the book, and women were reading the book, and it was, getting buzz. And this is before Good Morning America, and before Oprah and all that. And so I reached out to Steve, and he was familiar, with some of my stuff. And I couldn't close the deal right there, so I can't stop touching me. I went back to him. Then everything blew up, and it was New York Times bestseller and all that. I went back to him, and I told him again what I wanted to do. And at that time, there were a lot of people after the book, because it did. Could you not touch gas, man? Like that. It's 2.5 million copies, and print books, they just don't sell like that now. So a lot of people were after, a lot of bigger production companies. But I went in and brought in Screen Gems, and they were very supportive, and he believed in the vision. And honestly, he was like, all right, man, don't fuck it up. That's exactly what he said. I said, I won't, brother.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like the movie, guys. I don't have a favorite scene. I looked at it several times, and I'm just disappointed in my director, my producer. I felt like the actors could have done a lot more to bring more to the film.
Is that including you?
No, not literally. Like, me being a part of the movie was a godsend. So it just depends on how people view it,
It really does depend on how they view it. I thought that they hired a real actor to play the role of Cedric. We could have took this up to another level. He won some awards. But you know what? Awards ain't everything.
Should I ask you a question, Mommy? It was my turn to answer the question.
Oh, my bad.
Yes, just let me answer the question. Why don't you back off? No, seriously, without even playing around, this is me being, I'm going to be serious only once today. In this movie, the reason why it's hard for me to pick a scene, Gabrielle touched on it a lot. We're already friends, and I think the one thing you see in this movie is great chemistry, on camera and off camera. And the reason why I can't pick a scene is because my favorite part is when we weren't working. Nobody was bougie, or nobody felt like they were above and beyond everybody else. Nobody ran to their trailers after the scenes were done. We stayed, we were talking, we conversed the whole movie. And to me, that's great, because you don't see that when you do film. So I take my hat off to everybody up here, as well as Will and Tim, because we had a comfortable work environment. And I think that's why we were able to get such a great film.
I just want to confirm, you said your favorite scene was behind the scenes. Is that what you said?
It's a movie where a lot of the men are being encouraged and inspired by their women. Do you guys think that you're going to get any backlash from African American men out there that think that this movie is all about the women being stronger and pushing their women to be better, to not be the mama's boy, to get his music career together, to go back home to his wife? There's a lot of threats in there that the women are really, Gabrielle, your character, pushing your man to go after that good job and leaving that junior position to go for the senior position. Do you guys think
We've talked about this several times and touched on this. This is the first time that within a romantic comedy that you've seen it from a male's point of view.
Absolutely.
Yes, you still have a female and a group of women that are telling their story. You see their world. But as men, you get to see us behind the scenes. And what I mean by behind the scenes is you see us talk to each other about how we feel about our relationships, about how he feels about the 90-day rule, how he feels about being a mama's boy, how Gary Owens felt about being a married man. And us conversing and talking, we go to help. Now, our advice isn't necessarily the best advice, but the advice that we're giving each other is what we think is best for that person at that time. Now, as far as women and them pushing us in the right direction, basically what it is telling women that, hey, if you want something out of a man, sometimes you have to let it be known what you want without coming off like, excuse the lack of the term, without being a bitch about it. There's different ways to get what you want. And I think all of the women in this film went about what they want, and their approach to it was smart. And it forced men to look at them and say, wow, I have to take her serious. I have to take the 90-day rule serious. I have to clean up my house and become a man. Those were little things that were shown. So, to answer your question, I don't think there's going to be flack. I think it's just showing women that, hey, you know what, it's not hard to get the attention that you want from your man by just bettering yourself and being a leader. Sometimes that's what a man needs. We need to be shown, because if you don't show us, we won't do it.
I do feel like in some instances women have to think like men. And I've been on record saying that women are way too emotional. And if I learned something from the book and the movie, is to put emotions to the side and take that moment and then react, because men don't necessarily function like that. So that's definitely my version of thinking like a man, is trying to be a little less emotional about everything.
And I think a lot of times when people say that, think like a man, what they mean is if it was a foreign film, the subtitle would be use common sense. And I believe that can be applied to both genders. I don't think it's something exclusively for a man, because there's a lot of my male friends that identified with the female characters, and a lot of the female characters that identified with the male characters. So I think a lot of these issues cut across gender lines. But I kind of take offense in the sense of, think like a man, because it's kind of, it's assuming that you are not using logic and common sense, which I believe we are all capable of. You have to be incredibly clear and articulate about your wants, your needs, your desires, and more importantly, your expectations and what your line in the sand is. You just have to be very clear about that. And I think some people consider that thinking like a man, which I think is a little...
I improv a lot. And the thing that made it so great in this film, you have to work with a director who's willing to let you bring whatever you want to bring to your character and allow you to take chances. And the good thing about Tim's story, me and him, we had such a good relationship where we talked before scenes, and I would give him thoughts on what I wanted to do, and he would tell me, that's good, but let's keep it here. And, together we found a great place. But I can't get off the way that I got off in this film without a great cast. You need people to set you up and put you in a position to win. And, I honestly have to take my hat off to, the fellow actors and actresses in this movie. Without them, I don't have the opportunities to be funny. I don't have the moments where people are dying laughing. So, I credit them for allowing me to improv and them feeding off of my energy and nobody breaking, and we were able to save those takes. So yes, it was improv, but I don't just sit up here and go, yeah, I'm an improv fucking genius. They literally showed me so much love in this film, man. Especially Mike. Mike with straight takes, Romany with straight takes, Jerry, Terrence, people not breaking and allowing us to save those takes played a big part. So
yeah, exactly. And I gotta say, someone who also does a lot of improv, I realized that my confidence comes a lot of my improv comes from having a really solid script. Because if your improv doesn't work, you can always go back to what's on page.
Right.
And so, one, we like to also credit the writers for delivering something like that. And two, I've learned that it really takes a keen director to be able to identify what is working. Because you can hear something that's funny, but it may not match the tone. It may not be congruent with the film that you're making. It'll probably be funnier in something else, you know what I mean? And to be able to discern between what works and what doesn't, mad props to Tim for that. And I felt like we all got played like little keys on a piano.